So my family and I are heading into a couple of months of being on the road, of traveling for nearly 2 months with our kids, and I'm used to homeschooling like this, with a beautiful, gigantic bookshelf of books and resources behind me, and I even have a second bookshelf next to me. So how am I consolidating and minimizing my homeschool, making it portable, or making it a capsule style homeschool for a little bit of road schooling for the next couple months? I'm going to show you my temporary travel homeschool right now. So this is the sum total of my homeschooling plans. This is my homeschooling stack for my 2 school-age sons for our summer travels over the 2 months of June and July. If you know anything about how I homeschool here normally, you will notice that this looks startlingly minimalist compared to normal. And my goal is definitely not our normal homeschooling feast approach. Going into this, there's no need to be doing a lot of homeschool. However, my kids still are at that fundamental skill building stage. My youngest especially has really made a lot of progress with learning how to read over the last year. And he's kind of at a key phase where I don't think it would be good for him to take 2 weeks off of, reading or writing the letters of the alphabet now that he's finally writing them all, not backwards. We want to keep up these skills. So this is really just with the goal of keeping skills sharp. So I wanted to provide a little bit of inspiration about what travel homeschool could look like when you don't have a lot of space, for when you know you're not going to have a lot of time, but you do want to be keeping skills sharp. And in different situations, it's going to look a lot more different. If I had older kids who were very independently, fluently reading and writing, I would probably just be having them do travel journals or something like that to keep skills sharp, maybe doing some, on the computer, math fact drills or something of that sort. But with the ages of my sons, who are 5 and 7, this is what we're doing. So I'll show you what I've packed. I have a little zipper pouch here, and all it has in it is 1 pair of scissors, 1 glue stick, 1 pencil sharpener. Everyone likes the electric ones, but these work in a pinch. And a couple of our Ticonderoga pencils, and 1 spare eraser, and then just a handful of crayons. And I chose our crayons that are the twistable crayons because I thought they'd be less likely to break as this is getting packed and carried around everywhere. And I just picked the colors that you really need the most, the ones that are always coming up in workbooks, draw a blue line from this to that or something like that. Color the circle orange, whatever the instructions may be. Then we have 2 workbooks, and these are the Evan Moore Top Student workbooks. I have one for kindergarten and one for grade 2. These are the grades that my sons are both going into. And I chose these because these are multi-subject workbooks. I used this level with my oldest when he was younger, so I knew what it was like, pretty familiar with it. These are great. I like that it's multiple subjects in one. They're not perfect. They're definitely not. There's not really that much in the way of phonics in here. And no one multi-subject workbook is going to meet every student exactly where they're at. So, the reading and writing in here will be at a very good level for my son. The math will be very easy for him because he's more advanced in math. But the one other thing that I am bringing in our little capsule homeschool, so we'll have these workbooks. We can just do a couple pages a day. One other thing that I'm going to bring will be a notebook. And y'all know I love my notebooks. But a blank notebook is so powerful because this means for my kindergartner, I can just write out a couple of sentences that are at his reading level that he can read and practice. Because I was going through this and noticing in their phonics, they'll have a word like monkey, and they'll have a picture of a monkey. And so he'll be able to read it because there's a picture of a monkey right there. But he doesn't actually know the EY, phonogram or those kind of things. So I do think I'll need to add on just more, writing out a sentence, writing out some words that are at his level with the phonograms he's learned and with no pictures for guessing. So I can use a notebook for that. And then for my oldest, my plan is that I'll just make up 1 multiple digits multiplication problem a day. So, like 292 times 85. and have him solve that. And I'll give you a tip. If you're using notebooks for math with younger children especially, turning it sideways and writing down the problem allows them to use these lines as columns, keep their numbers organized. That can be really helpful with something like multiple digit multiplication. So my plan is just one of those a day and one long division problem a day, just because those are longer algorithms to remember all the different steps, and I don't want him to get rusty on remembering the order of all the steps. So that is my simple what I am packing and what I am planning for our travel schooling throughout the summer. Keep it simple, couple pages a day, keep our writing and math skills going. We're not going to be traveling with books to read. I will be buying some books there so we can, read some new books as we find them, visit libraries. So I'm sure there will still be some reading involved throughout the summer, but we aren't bringing any of our books from where we live all the way on our trip because we do have to keep the weight down. So there we have it, travel school.